face coming on TV and being targeted for whatever.
And indeed, it was extremely hard to get people to talk to us. A lot of people didn't want to be recorded out of fear of reprisal. And that's something that's really new for me. Nearly 20 years of being a journalist in India, I can't ever remember coming to a Muslim locality and seeing this kind of fear and apprehension on the ground. The extent of religious polarization deeper than I've ever experienced before.
Yogita Ramai in northern India. Now to Oppenheimer. Was undoubtedly the star of the show at this year's Oscars, winning 7 awards. Its story of the creation of the atomic bomb has captivated audiences around the world. But how is it seen in Japan, where the atomic bomb was used to kill thousands of people, in 1945? Well, 8 months after its global release, the film is now hitting Japan's cinemas. Our correspondent Shaima Khalil is in Hiroshima.
There's no other location that's more eerie relevant to the story of Oppenheimer than where I am right now. The first atomic bomb exploded almost directly over the building I'm looking at right now, or the skeleton of the building. It's the Hiroshima Peace Memorial, also known as the A-bomb dome, that is facing the Motoyasu River. This was actually a site of carnage when the A-bomb detonated here almost 80 years ago, because in that river, thousands and thousands of people whose skin was burning at the time jumped for relief and for refuge, and many, many bodies floated there for days. And so if you think about the legacy of J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, it is felt very deeply here. It's ever present in Hiroshima.
So what are people making of the release of this film in Japan?
Well, this was always going to be a difficult watch, and actually it was quite controversial when it was first released, not just because of the subject matter, but also because the initial release coincided with the screening of the other big hit of the year, which is Barbie. And on social media, there was a lot of combining the two films, with people dressing in both fashions, saying that they were going to watch the two films back to back. And for people here in Japan, they felt that this trivialized the tragedy that they lived through. But I think also, having spoken to a couple of survivors who've seen it in a limited preview, one thing that Tomoyuki Mimata told me, and he was 3 when this happened, but what he found difficult was the fact that it did not acknowledge the terror that was experienced by the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and many people have commented about that.
So it's going to be on release in Japan, but is it going to be a box office hit?
I think there's a great deal of curiosity. Some people want to see it, to see what the big deal is all about, but others, to be honest, they're testing themselves to see if they can endure it. One survivor actually told me that difficult as it is to watch, it is important for people to watch it, especially young people to watch it. He said the 100-year anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing will come soon. And when that happens, almost none of the survivors will be alive to tell the story. And it's important for younger people to know the story.
Shaima Khalil in Hiroshima. It's called an astrocomb, a laser system that allows astronomers to observe tiny changes in the colour of starlight and, hopefully, reveal hidden planets in the process. Now, researchers say an improvement in the technology will expand our understanding of the universe. Terry Egan reports.
Astrocombs have been used by scientists to study the cosmos for several years now. Like the millimeter scale on a ruler, they allow researchers to precisely measure the spectrum of starlight, observing minute changes in color, and so revealing the presence of hidden planets. Until now, though, they've been limited to the green-red part of the color spectrum. That may seem like a minor thing, but in the world of universe mapping, it's a huge limitation. Now, scientists here in the UK have made a technological breakthrough to change all that. Using a laser with remarkably low power, they'll be able to focus the shorter wavelength, ultraviolet to blue-green part of the spectrum. It's a big difference, and comparisons have been drawn with rock music, where audio distortion is heard when the signal from an electric guitar guitar is high, but not when it's low. Simply new audio frequencies being created in the guitar amplifier. And according to scientists, their new device will do the same thing, but for light. That means they'll be able to study smaller planets on longer orbits than ever before. Now it's hoped the technology can be used with the so-called extremely large telescope, currently under construction in Chile, as well as with telescopes in the Canary Islands and South Africa. The ultimate aim, though, is to discover the first Earth-like planet orbiting around a nearby Sun-like star. Oh, and that little matter of improving our understanding of how the universe expands.
Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
Standing question, why is the extremely large telescope so called? Terry Egan with that report. The latest sports news now. Here's Paul Serras.
Thank you, Alex. The defending champions Barcelona are through to the semi-finals of the Women's Champions League after beating the Norwegian side Brann 3-1, sealing a 5-2 aggregate victory. Next up for Barcelona, the Women's Super League leaders Chelsea. Paris Saint-Germain will face their Ligue 1 rivals and the 8-time European champions Lyon in the other last four matchup. The Parisians beat the Swedish side Häcken 3-0 on the night and 5-1 on aggregate. The Newcastle United and Italy midfielder Sandro Tonali has been hit with further charges in relation to alleged breaches of the Football Association's betting rules. Tonali is currently serving a ban for breaches of the Italian Federation's guidelines, which started on the 28th of October. BBC's Matthew Raisbeck has more.
Tonali's currently halfway through a 10-month ban issued by the Italian authorities for breaking gambling rules in Italy. Now the FA is alleging the midfielder placed 50 bets on matches between the 12th of August and the 12th of October last year. Newcastle say Tonali continues to fully comply with the relevant investigations and he has their full support.
Tennis, and the top seed Carlos Alcaraz is out of the Miami Open, beaten in straight sets by Grigor Dimitrov. The Bulgarian will face Alexander Zverev in the last four, with Yannick Sinner taking on Daniil Medvedev in the other semi-final. The fourth seed, Jelena Rybakina, will face the American Danielle Collins in the women's final after a deciding set tie-break victory over Victoria Azarenka. In the last few minutes, Collins beat the 14th seed, Ekaterina Alexandrova, in straight sets. Rugby Union and the Women's Six Nations makes its return on Saturday with two matches. Scotland will be looking to build on last weekend's narrow win over Wales when they welcome France to the Hive Stadium in Edinburgh. The Scotland head coach Brian Eason says they know they're in for it.
Their physical side, they are top three in the world for a reason. They've been consistent with their performances, but they are really physical, but they're also chaotic. They play typical French. We know what to expect. We've trained quite a bit of chaotic stuff this week, but we've also got to make sure that we don't get thrown into that as well.
England have made 7 changes ahead of Saturday's clash with Wales, including a 50th cap for Lord Zoe Oldcroft. Ireland host Italy on Sunday.
Paul Serras, thank you. The world-famous American entertainer Beyoncé releases her first country music album, Cowboy Carter, on Friday. It's a major statement in an industry that has traditionally been seen as a white musical genre. Holly G is the founder of Black Oak Tree, an organisation that helps promote black artists. Sophie Williams caught up with her.
First black woman to reach #1 in the country Billboard charts. And now she's releasing her hotly anticipated country album. Last week she told fans that the criticism she faced when she first entered the country genre had forced her to challenge herself and create the album. Country is a very white-dominated genre, and Holly G from the Black Opry has been trying to change that in recent years.
I was just somebody who was a huge fan of country music, and I got really frustrated not seeing myself represented in the genre. If you look at the people that were in the music videos, the artists, the people that were hosting the TV shows, even the marketing material, you didn't see black people represented anywhere.
Black Opry aims to stop black people in the industry from being overlooked and disregarded. For Holly,
You have this long-standing history of tradition that centers around one type of person, and that inherently creates obstacles because you're constantly being told that this is what country music looks like, and if you don't fit into this mold, you can't do it the right way.
a study by Dr. Jada Watson at the University of Ottawa found that from 2002 until 2023, 96.5% of songs played on country music radio were by white artists. Songs by women of colour averaged just 0.6% of plays. But now, many black country artists have seen streams and plays of their music up hundreds of percent since Beyoncé released her 2 country tracks.
What's up? My name's Tiara Kennedy, and this is my show. I'm a singer-songwriter living out my country music dreams right here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Musician and podcaster Tiara Kennedy says she has seen plays of her own music increase.
I've already seen the effect personally, just through my music and through socials. Posted a little cover of Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages, and just seeing the response from that has been really cool. I'm thankful for her presence in country music because I feel like she's really changing the game for a lot of artists.
So could this focus on black country artists last beyond Beyoncé's album?
I love going through the comments on my videos and seeing all of the people that are fans of Beyonce that haven't always listened to country music, but now because he's doing country, they're like, okay, I need to get over on this bandwagon. I think it's not just the moment that's happening. I think that it's going to have residual effects, and I think there are fans that are going to be sticking around for a long time.
And with that, I'll be back in 90 minutes with another edition of the newsroom.
This is the BBC World Service, hearing the Ukrainian survivors of the siege of Azovstal tell their story.
As Russian troops advanced, many civilians fled to what they thought was a place of safety.
The last bastion of Ukraine's resistance is the Azovstal steel plant. Perhaps a few thousand soldiers and civilians in its bunkers and tunnels.
They were bombing us from all sides.
It made no sense to run away because you didn't know where a bomb would drop. And in the middle of all this, we were trying to establish our strange life.
The families ate only once a day at lunchtime. People slept to forget their hunger.
We're taking heavy casualties, we're taking losses, people are dying right now. Our lives means nothing, but our fight means everything.
Azovstal, the 80-day siege, Thursday at 8:30 and 19 GMT.
You're listening to Tech Live from the BBC World Service with me, Zoe Klein. This week, electric bikes and scooters. What can be done to make charging them safer? School students take on a chess challenge against AI-powered opponents, and we try out the latest Bluetooth connectivity, which gives more listening options than ever before.
Auracast allows for an audio transmitter to broadcast to an unlimited number of receivers.
That's all to come after the latest world news.
BBC News with David Harper. The founder of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, is starting a 25-year prison sentence after being found guilty of fraud and money laundering by a court in New York. He stole billions of dollars from FTX customers in what prosecutors described as one of the biggest financial frauds in US history. The International Court of Justice has ordered Israel to take all necessary measures to ensure food supplies reach the Gaza Strip. New measures were requested by South Africa, which has accused Israel of genocide in Gaza. Israel has vehemently denied that its military campaign is illegal. Loud explosions and sustained gunfire have been heard in the Syrian city of Aleppo. The Syrian Defense Ministry said Israel had carried out airstrikes, killing an unspecified number of civilians and military personnel.
2 years of talks aimed at reaching a global deal on how to prevent future pandemics have failed for now to reach consensus. All but 2 of the world's nations are taking part. They largely agree on what should be done in future pandemics, but disagree over how binding any commitments might be. Police in South Africa are investigating why a bus plunged off a road into a ravine, killing 45 people. The passengers from Botswana were travelling to an Easter church service. An 8-year-old girl was the sole survivor. The US government has authorised an initial $60 million to help the state of Maryland clear the debris of a bridge that was brought down by the giant container ship on Tuesday. The biggest crane on the East Coast is being sent to Baltimore to join the emergency effort. A technological breakthrough may soon lead to the discovery of more planets. British scientists have developed a version of a laser system known as an astrocone, enabling astronomers to observe small changes in the colour of starlight. They hope it could help in the search for an Earth-like planet orbiting a nearby star, similar to the Sun. BBC News.
Hello and welcome to Tech Life, the programme about technology making an impact on your life. I'm Zoe Kleinman, and this week we're looking at electric bikes and scooters. They're increasing in popularity, but charging them can be inconvenient and occasionally risky. We look at what can go wrong and how they can be made safer. More about that in a moment. Also this week, our reporter Mark meets a bunch of brave children taking on artificial intelligence at chess. And we try out the next generation of Bluetooth.
It is allowing Bluetooth to become more social, right? It is no longer a personal audio experience, but can be a shared audio experience.
In many cities all over the world, electric scooters and bikes that can often be more accessible and affordable than cars. There's been an increase in them on the roads, as well as an increase of those which get dumped as e-waste once they've served their purpose. There have also been some harrowing stories of fires caused by these vehicles being charged at home. To combat this, New York City is running a pilot scheme where, for the next 6 months, 100 delivery drivers will be able to access battery swapping. This means they visit a charging station and switch an empty pack for a fully charged battery. We wanted to hear about e-bike and scooter charging all around the world, so we're going to start in Indonesia, in Bali, where the journalist Michelle Anindya is based in the beautiful town of Ubud. Is getting around by e-bike and scooter pretty popular in Bali?
Yeah, it's getting more and more popular. I see them quite a lot, especially in Denpasar, but also like in smaller towns, like even in Ubud and like small alleys. Like you see electric two-wheelers that's more like mopeds. That's gaining popularity right now. So yeah, you definitely see them a lot in Bali. Definitely see them a lot, like way a lot more in possibly like Jakarta and Java. If we compare it now versus like 2 or 3 years ago, I think it's gaining more popularity.
And what's the charging network like? Is it easy to charge them?
I think most people actually charge them at home. There are a few swapping stations, and a lot of them are actually in the like mini markets. Like we have the mini markets here called Indomaret, and then usually like they will have like a swapping stations. Not all of them, but they will have like swapping stations in there where drivers can easily like swap their batteries. But from what I understand, like most of them actually just charge them at home.
Is it the case that more and more people are looking to alternative batteries to trying to sort of make their own?
Yeah, that's what I find like quite interesting in Indonesia, because for different reasons, I think, you know, like the electric two-wheelers community here in Indonesia, although it's really popular now, but there are niche communities that's been in this segment and gaining the understanding of how electric two-wheelers work for many years, you know, like, so a lot of them have been studying about like how electric two-wheelers work and how the batteries work for this type of vehicles for like more than 5 years or even like 10 years or a little bit more. A lot of these people who many will consider experts, they're the ones that sort of teaching other people or like teaching the newbies how to pack their own batteries at home. You know, like they have like WhatsApp groups and Facebook forums where they share knowledge and then information, where to buy, how to know whether the battery cells that you buy are good quality or not, stuff like that.
And is it cheaper than using an official battery?
Yeah, it is cheaper. It is cheaper. It can be like half the price.
Oh, that is quite a significant saving, isn't it?
Yes, it's quite a significant saving, and people can definitely, you know, compare like, all these prices, and they can see like whether or not, you know, they can modify the batteries depending on their specification and their needs. So it's much more tailored to their lifestyle and to what they actually need in their, you know, everyday lives.
Are they more reliable, these batteries?
Yeah, so if we look at the people who have been like building these batteries for many years, and I'm talking like 5 years or more than 5 years, you know, 5 to 10 years, trying to build these batteries, they build their reputations on this, you know, they built their reputation on how good their batteries are. So I think I can say like the ones that they built are pretty reliable, but then, you know, the ones that are just starting new and just trying to make opportunities out of it will be much less reliable than that.
And have there been any safety issues? I mean, obviously it's not recommended that you start making your own batteries unless you're absolutely sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah, so far, you know, from what I see online, talking to people, there's not a lot of like safety issues yet. There are safety issues even with the original batteries, you know. From what I understand, it's not something that freak people out, that people actually don't want to use homemade batteries. But I guess we'll see like in the next 2 or 3 years, like, you know, if people who just started learning how to make batteries and cells that will already start selling them, I think we'll see more and more safety issues if that's really like what's happening.
Do you think it might drive down the cost of official batteries if these companies realise that actually it's so much cheaper for people to go elsewhere, even if it's not the safest option?
Batteries is like 50% of the cost of total electric two-wheelers. So it's definitely high, and I think it will definitely make people think about how to structure the price better.
Our thanks to Michelle and India reporting for us there in Bali, Indonesia. Let's go to Taiwan, where battery swapping is already in full swing, led by a firm called Gogoro. They claim you're more likely to see a swapping station than a gas pump in the big cities there, and they have a network of more than 12,000. They also operate in South Korea, and they're looking at a potentially huge market in India. Horace Luke is the boss of Gogoro, and he told me more.
The electric motor is highly efficient. And we can get more energy to propel you to go from point A to point B. But unfortunately, the battery is just not dense enough. There's not enough energy in the battery that is, you know, that is carryable by your two arms. And so we needed to create a solution that allowed the consumer to have no wait time. You have to be better than gas vehicle, right? If you're going to convince somebody to change from the regular diet to something that is better, it's got to better. You got to taste better, right? And
you've kind of done the opposite to what Tesla and the electric car firms have done, which is, you know, building charging networks in order to sell cars. You're kind of taking the opposite approach, aren't you? And you're selling vehicles that you can then encourage to use the battery swap system.
It's a chicken and egg question. So when we started, our thesis when we started was actually a very small office. It was mainly a software office where we thought somebody was going to build the battery, somebody was going to build the station, somebody was going to build the vehicle, and then here comes kicking off the project looking for somebody to build the, you know, the battery. Nobody built the battery. And then I have a bad habit. You know, I ask people a few times and I don't like getting a third no. So I asked the first guy said no. Then I asked the second guy said it's impossible. So I went off and built the battery.
You did it yourself?
Then I said, okay, yeah. So we built the battery. And the only thing I knew how to build was a smartphone at the time. So I built a smart battery that can be upgradable, that can be programmable, that has eye security. So if I steal, let's say, your battery from your vehicle, it just simply won't work in my vehicle because I'm not authorized to discharge the battery or charge the battery on that on my vehicle.
So you ended up doing a lot of the dirty work yourself, as it were.
Today, we manufacture almost everything except the energy cell itself, because the energy cell is a constantly changing commodity. But you know, the battery pack, the vehicle, the station, the powertrain, all the electronics, and all the control system in the back end that allows the consumer to actually take our fully automated system and swap their vehicle in Taiwan alone. We have about 12,450 swap stations across about 2,500 locations. So we have more locations than gas stations across metropolitan cities in Taiwan.
And so basically, you run the battery down, and then you go to a swap station, and you just exchange it for a new, freshly charged battery.
Yeah, and it's all automatic. You put a battery in, and then they take a look at whether you pay the bill. Think of it as a subscription plan. Did you pay your bill? How many kilometers did you ride this time, and how much energy did you use this time? And we instantly program another battery and spit it up to you, and you toss it into your vehicle. And then off you go again. People ride on average about 70 kilometers to 100 kilometers.
So you must have thousands of batteries.
With 1.4 million batteries.
1.4 million
batteries. We're the largest battery swapping network on Earth today, with operation in Taiwan, in Korea, in Singapore, in India, as well as some pilot programs across Southeast Asia. We just launched in Chile and Colombia with a large petroleum gas station retailer, OPEC. And so we're building these very, very large partnerships around the world with the thesis that we're going to provide electric fuel.
Can you charge the battery yourself? Is it possible, or do you have to swap it?
The answer is today. The answer is in Taiwan, in the areas where we operate the battery swapping network, we don't allow the user to charge it because they didn't buy the battery. And
so you as your customers do not own their batteries.
Do not own their batteries. So because of that, I can reduce the cost of the vehicle about 40%.
Right.
So now that translates to either the vehicle being more affordable, or I can put more safety and innovation into the vehicle. So more performance, more electronics.
Do people try and charge the batteries themselves, or do you not have a problem with it?
Oh, people try a lot of things. You know, when you own about $600 million worth of assets in the network, people try a lot of things. Yeah?
I'm sure you've seen it all. What do people try to do?
I've seen it all. I've seen it all. So, they try to pry it open, they try to charge it, they do a lot of things to it. But the main thing that we did in the battery is that we made sure that the battery safety is the first thing that we care about. Not having an authorized charging and having the right charger, not only is it economically not beneficial to our business model that people can actually charge, so we secure it through a security system. We actually secure the battery. So without authentication, you can't charge it, you can't discharge it. The batteries are done. It just sits there. That's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very locked down.
Open, yeah. Very locked down. So the next line of defense is mechanical defense, making sure that when they do try and pry it open, that they won't electrocute themselves, the battery doesn't blow up, etc., etc. So, we're very proud of our battery safety as well.
That was Horace Luke from Gogoro in Taiwan. If you were listening to last week's Tech Life, you'll have heard our report about a four-legged, dog-like robot called Spot that's helping to decommission nuclear reactors. Spot can be sent into places where it's too hazardous for humans to go. Well, as you can hear in this WhatsApp voice note from Christian, there are other uses for the robots.
My name's Christian from Tasmania. I love listening to your program. Really interesting to hear your story about Spot the dog doing emergency work. We actually met 3 of the Spot the dogs in Melbourne. They were an art installation at the Melbourne National Gallery of Victoria, and one was drawing on the wall, one was doing acrobatics, and another one was prancing around and moving different objects. And yeah, it's really cool because our kids have seen them online, but it's really cool to see them in reality. Amazing. Cheers, bye.
Thank you, Christian in Tasmania, for your voice note. And I need to say hello to Nigel Fletcher, a Brit now living in Perth in Western Australia. Nigel emailed us. He says he loves the show, thank you, Nigel, and he listens via his AirPods while walking his dog, a chow chow called Piper, around the suburbs. Nigel sent us a gorgeous photo of Piper rocking a pair of sunglasses, which has made the whole tech team go, oh, and I've now got a printout of it on my desk. Thank you, Nigel. Nigel, we also think you're going to like our story about headphone tech that's coming up soon. You can email us your thoughts on today's Tech Life and any tech topic that's on your mind. Our email address is techlife@bbc.co.uk. You can also send a WhatsApp message. The number is +44 330 123 0320. Please tell us your name and do you play chess, and are you any good at it? Unless you're a world champion like Magnus Carlsen, your answer may well depend on who you're playing against. My level of expertise extends as far as having watched the Queen's Gambit, but anyway, a group of teenagers who are far braver than me have been playing against an artificial intelligence chess opponent at Google's DeepMind offices in London. They're involved in a programme to introduce students to AI through chess skills. TechLife's Mark Chislak paid them a visit.
Google DeepMind's HQ in London recently played host to a group of chess-playing secondary school students. It's all part of an initiative to promote the study of AI amongst students from diverse backgrounds.
For me, it's super important with the way I approach everything through my work of machine learning and AI.
DeepMind's founder, Demis Hassabis, greeted the students in a speech which acknowledged his love of chess and how it's informed his professional career.
About concentration, and planning, and visualization. I think there's so many things that chess teaches you.
My name is Malcolm Payne. I'm an International Master of Chess and I'm the Chief Executive of Chess in Schools and Communities. Chess has actually been described as the petri dish of AI because it's a game of perfect information, so it gives a fantastic arena for research to be undertaken. The core of the charity is delivering chess lessons in class time to primary school children all around the country. We've taught 300,000 children how to play the game, the world's oldest game, since the charity's inception 14 years ago. Here at Google DeepMind, one of the greatest breakthroughs in AI was the creation of both AlphaGo and AlphaZero. AlphaGo played Go and became the greatest Go player ever, and AlphaZero became the greatest chess player ever. And it's actually so good, it's actually been put under wraps because it would disturb the competitive game of chess if some of its information became known by some people and not others.
Against a landscape in education and in employment where AI is starting to have quite a dramatic effect, what skills do you think chess promotes?
Well, first of all, it's concentration. It's also pattern recognition, which is an extremely important skill in computer programming. And it also, certainly in primary schools, teaches certain softer skills like taking turns. And it also teaches children to take responsibility for their actions. You know, if you make a bad move in chess, you own it.
Students who are going to be playing chess, if you'd like to come over here.
After Hassabis played chess against some of the students, I caught up with them.
My name is Rishi. My name is Tanmay Lodia.
Has taking part in these chess meets AI sessions changed how they think about their education and future employment?
Chess is a very information-based game. Everything can be memorized, everything can be simplified down into something that is mathematical. And I think because of that, primarily I wanted to go into something with AI. Hopefully I can work for a company like this. That is the goal at the end of the day. Maybe even start my own firm.
After coming here, I've come to realize that the way we've been thinking about AI is much faster than it is already. So by the time I graduate 4 years down the line, the industry would have changed completely. So I have to keep that in mind and think, where can I possibly bring the change in this era where the revolution's already started.
Obul Makeke is Head of Education Partnerships at Google DeepMind. I wanted to know what skills he thinks will be useful in the age of AI.
One is that is fundamental, in my opinion, is problem-solving skills. That's not going to go away. There is creativity. There are mathematical skills, there is also an ability to make decisions on the fly.
What about folks that aren't great at that?
To build AI, you don't necessarily need to be a researcher or an engineer. You can contribute in different ways. Whether you're a policy maker, you need to know enough about AI. So one of the things we are currently doing is we have partnered with the Raspberry Pi Foundation on a program we are calling Experience AI. Experience AI, think about it as an AI literacy program, right? A set of lessons to help young people understand what AI is and how they can apply it to society, how they can benefit from it.
Even with new AI tech, it seems humans will still be in the mix.
Thank you to TechLive's Mark Chislak for that report. We come across Bluetooth in lots of the gadgets we use. It's a bit of an unsung hero. You might be listening to us right now on headphones wirelessly connected to your device. But it's often a one-way street connecting just one device with another. Now, the non-profit organisation behind the tech is rolling out Auracast, the next generation of wirelessly connecting us to TV and audio sources all around us. It's starting to appear in the latest models of some devices, so TechLife's Alistair Keane checked it out in the US.
Hello, my name is Dave Hollander with the Bluetooth SIG, and welcome to the Auracast experience.
We've walked into a fairly normal meeting room, but you've transformed it into an airport, and we're standing at the airport bar having company security, although there's no alcohol actually on the bar. Just some pictures on the wall. Why are we here? What is Auracast?
We are here to experience just one of the ways that Auracast is soon going to help our world sound better. So at locations like this airport bar, or you can imagine gymnasiums, transit centers, waiting areas, there are TVs available, right? And that is a great benefit. In this case, we're able to watch both a football match and a basketball game, but there's still something missing from the whole watching experience, and that is